Brainlinks, mechanisms and developmental patterns of prosocial behaviors in adolescence. Adolescents have to navigate a rapidly changing social world and balance between their own and others' needs. How do behaviors that benefit others, also known as prosocial behaviors, develop in young people who transition from childhood into adulthood? In the Brainlinks project, we aim to answer this important question because society benefits from understanding how we interact with others and how we contribute to facing big challenges such as the climate crisis and social inequality. I personally wanted to study prosocial behavior because of all of the negative stereotypes about young people in the media. Adolescents are often seen as rebellious risk-takers. While this may be partly true, adolescents also build kind and reciprocal relationships with others. I wanted to learn more about this positive side of adolescence. Prosocial behaviors are behaviors that benefit others. Recent studies have suggested that different types of prosocial behaviors, such as helping and giving, each have unique mechanisms and developmental patterns. The Brainlinks project aims to understand the mechanisms of developmental change in prosociality by combining insights from neuroscience, behavioral economics, and psychology. Brainlinks is a sequential longitudinal study that combines hormone data, neuroimaging, behavioral experiments, observations, and questionnaires. To capture the dynamics of adolescent development, we included participants aged 9 to 19 years at the first wave. Participants visited us 3 times for a lab MRI visit. In between, we administered online questionnaires, once with 2 monthly intervals to capture variation over the period of 1 year, and once in a 3-week daily diary study at the start of the pandemic. As such, we have a rich assessment of behaviors across multiple timescales. In each wave, we measured different types of prosociality using experimental tasks and questionnaires. But we did more than that. We also studied brain activity during the experimental tasks using fMRI. One task was administered at every wave, a giving task in which adolescents could divide money between strangers or friends. This allowed us to examine developmental patterns of how adolescents differentiate between in-group and out-group members. Each measurement wave also had specific aims, which was reflected in distinct functional MRI tasks. The first wave included a vicarious reward task for family members, the second wave a delayed discounting task for friends, and the third wave a trust game for societal targets. With these tasks, we aim to capture prosocial behavior at varying levels of complexity, as well as the associated neural correlates. Adolescents learn a lot about balancing needs of self and others from their environment, such as their parents. But do their parents experience prosociality in the same way? To study this, we also invited mothers and fathers of our adolescent sample to the lab. In the scanner, they completed the same vicarious reward task as their children, as well as a self-concept task to understand how they view themselves as parents. The Brainlinks study, which was completed in 2022, has already led to some important and interesting discoveries. I discovered, for example, that older adolescents differentiate more between friends and unfamiliar others in their generosity. Older adolescents also use the lateral prefrontal cortex more when thinking about relatively small donations that mainly benefited themselves. This brain region has been implicated in impulse control and balancing the needs of self and others, for example by integrating norms into decisions. Given the richness of the Brainlinks data, I hope that the Brainlinks study can help resolve several of the burning questions related to prosociality in adolescence. For example, do individuals who are generous also show higher levels of other prosocial behaviors, such as helping? And do these behaviors have unique or similar developmental patterns? Of course, we would love to share the results with you. Interested in collaborating on the Brainlinks project or using the data? Please reach out to us. You can find a link to the metadata file describing all our measures here. This study was performed with a team of PhD students, postdocs, and collaborators.